Greetings everyone, and welcome to another special episode of the Trash Tapes, where one man's trash is another man's treasure. I'm your host, Johann and Ed, broadcasting live from my outbreak bunker, exploring the deep and dark corners to find some more bad cinema to entertain you all. This episode is another unreleased episode, recorded back in September last year as a special birthday episode for yours truly. I was about to turn 33 then. I was panicking at the time. Now, there's more worse things to worry about. It was part of the heavy metal month Ed and I did for the YouTube channels, which was a lot of fun to do. We got to dress up, we got to talk about our favorite video games with heavy metal in it. We were able to watch some hilarious scenes and just talk about good music. But this podcast episode never launched because it didn't feel right at the time. We attempt to streamline our podcast to be more an overall review format, rather than the structure that we have now, that all this to make it easier to edit for me. It was actually the shortest and breeziest episode we ever recorded. Yet without the deep dive into the history, the analysis of the plot, and the now infamous soundboard, it lost some of its charm. It was for a flick I love and really wanted many others to see, but the episode had lost its focus and didn't feel like we actually did the film justice. After that one, we went back to the drawing board, and many months later, we got to where we are now. It was much better for it. So why am I releasing it now? Well, because I feel like this episode is actually more of an insight into our personalities and really shows the kind of friendship Ed and I have. We drank quite a bit before recording this one, and you can see it in the way we do things with our mannerisms. You can hear how relaxed we are, how reflective and silly we got. We went off on various different tangents on music, TV, and other subjects not related to the movie at all, and it was all over the place. But we had so much fun just chatting. So with a little editing and working around, I was able to have this episode up and ready for all of you to laugh at in your isolation stations. So ladies and gentlemen, banshees and ghouls, it is time to put your favorite band t-shirt on and grow your hair out as we headbang our way through the satanic, panic-inducing love letter to heavy metal, Deathgasm. Rock on.
I'm realizing that when I like a drink, like I just fucking chug it. Yeah. And and it's not because I'm like just want to get drunk quicker, it's because I don't realize it. You know, do you know when you like something so much that you just that once it's over, you don't realize it's over and you sit there, you look a little disappointed afterwards?
Yeah, I'm guilty of, like, you know, when you say you have a drink on the go and you have it in your hand the whole time. Yeah. If you have it in your hand the whole time, you're just going to drink it the whole time.
Exactly. It's right in my hand. It's going to be going down my throat.
Yeah.
You know, it's the same with food. Like, when I really like food, I eat really quickly. You notice, as you've known me forever. So I eat fucking quickly. And it's not because I don't want to. Like, it's not like I have somewhere to be. It's just because it's there. It's just there, and I'm hungry. And it tastes good. Yeah. Fucking pizza, gone. Minutes. And people wonder, like, my God, what's wrong with you? It probably might be the reason why I'm slightly fat. But
you're not fat, mate. Fucking hell.
It's the tyre. It's just a tiny ass tyre. You know, I'm getting that beer belly slowly but surely. I wouldn't be surprised that becomes the case.
You are about to experience trash cinema.
Oh my God!
Everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Trash Tapes, when one man's trash is another man's treasure. I am the inflictor of pain, Johann, and I'm here with my oh so wonderful victim. But in this case, I think you're more like my sacrifice at this point. Edward Harvey, how you doing?
I'm good, thank you. I don't think I'm a victim anymore. I'm enjoying these movies way too much.
It's true. I kind of thought, at this point, I thought that you would be more like a ritual sacrifice in this movie.
Yeah.
Especially for the theme we're going for. But you were totally willing. Like, you were you were totally willing for this. It wasn't, it was, if you were going to be sacrificed on an altar, you'd be there going, all right, I'm totally game for this.
Come at me.
Come at me, bruh. We got it exactly right. It's been a little bit of a hot minute, and I'm just gonna confirm a few little things very quickly. We have been a little bit on a hiatus, just a little bit of a break.
Yeah,
like, we went on a holiday, so yeah, we've just been taking it easy. It's summertime, and we thought we want to come back. I want to come back with a bang. I'm also going to come back because it's around this time, hopefully around the time this movie comes out, like this review comes out. It's my birthday. I'll be 33. And so the reason why I picked this movie in particular is because I want to reconnect to my youth, really.
Yeah.
I want to get back to my youth. Can someone give me a time machine and come back?
And it certainly had that metal nostalgia, didn't it?
It totally did. My fear is that now I'm realising I'm going to be 33. I'm never going to be 18 again. Okay, so speaking of this malarkey, the movie we decided to review this time round is a movie that's close and dear to my heart. I loved it when it first came out. It's an indie movie. It's a recent film as well. And it's called Deathgasm.
You know that evil heavy metal that your parents hate you listening to? You know those lyrics about hell, demons, and doom? What if I told you it's all real? I know. I was there.
Jesus! It's piss.
That's me, Brody. My friends are losers, so we started a band.
Check it out.
Ricky Daggers. Is he dead?
Wouldn't it be crazy if the music had something to do with demons?
Demons.
We're all gonna die.
I translated those pages. Now, people are turning crazy. Like possessed crazy.
What's up?
That was pretty cool, as is, I mean, the axe and the...
You know, I'm not even sure I'm in the right tuning.
Brother of Steel.
I am in love with this movie. I'm going to say it's right off the bat. It's one of my favourites. And it's a movie that I think gets love, but I don't think a lot of people know it exists. So the people who know it love it. And people who have no idea about it think you're making it up when you describe it.
Yeah. Because there's a lot going on when you describe it. Because the thing is, you'd have to mention lots of bits to describe it as a whole. And then if you listed those bits, they'd be thinking, what? It's just like an entire movie. It's got all these things in it.
It sounds insane.
Yeah.
It sounds like the ramblings of a crazy person. The video for the Trashometer should be out by now. And we went bullet pointing thrash through about 10 points, and they're all insane. Just mentioning the idea, there's battling dildos in it. That's the first time I've ever thought I would ever say that in public. On a video. And look, I am a teacher, so now that is evidence on the internet that I have said battling dildos on now also on air, on audio. So dildos are now people know how I say dildos.
You just like saying it. Now
it's a fun word to say.
Now you say it all the time. It's like, ooh, it's like being naughty now. I can say dildos more often now.
I'm just gonna say I'm just gonna call someone a dildo now. I'm gonna insult someone saying you fucking dildo. It's fucking great. But yeah, if people are wondering what the heck Deathgasm is and why I'm literally jerking off for it, well, there's a reason for that. Deathgasm is a 2015 flick, right? And it is from New Zealand, which I always find quite fun as well. It's just a movie about heavy metal. It's a movie about coming of age, but it's also a movie about demon tits, and a movie about the apocalypse, and a movie about gore, and a movie that is juvenile as heck. It is not a clever movie because the humor is fucking juvenile as shit, but it is a whale of a fun time.
I mean, it's not trying to be intelligent, though, is it?
Yeah. It's not trying to be. It is just a movie that is just... It's just enjoying itself. And you know what I mean? It's rare you get a trashy movie that is enjoying itself, but also being it's a little tongue-in-cheek, but I don't think it's fully tongue-in-cheek. I think it's more like a loving tribute to heavy metal.
Yeah.
And that's hard, because heavy metal in many trashy movies, didn't we just see that clip from Rock and Roll Nightmare, for example, right? That you watch that, and that's heavy metal trying to be taken sincere, but it's become its own parody.
Yeah.
This is a pure tribute to when you were like 17, 18, you discovered heavy metal, you realized that Megadeth is your jam, and you just wanted to be... This is how you want to live your life. You want to wear leather, you want to wear... You want to be anti-establishment, you want to wear corpse paint, you want to do all this bullshit. You want to drink and smoke and have sex and have all the fun shit as a teenager. It's proper teenage angst. Right. Well, we're gonna break into what is Deathgasm, how it got made, and what's its deal? What is it? Well, it's, like we mentioned, a 2015 sort of horror comedy based in New Zealand, which is instantly, I'm in love with the Kiwis. I love the Kiwis. I love New Zealand in terms, not just because of its look, but just its communal atmosphere, and just the humour is just on point. Yeah. They know comedy. I think generally they are like a missing breed of comedy.
I really like Flight of the Conchords. Remember that? That's
I love that show.
New Zealand humour, like... It's just that was really, really funny.
Oh, how about have you seen the new season? Have you seen the TV series of what they do in the shadows?
No, not the TV. I've only seen the movie.
But the movie's great.
Yeah,
and that's the kind of humor I like, because it's dry, but it's dry and it's sarcastic, but it's not entirely clever. But it knows it and it runs with it, and you know what? Fuck it, it's funny. When something's funny, it's funny, and they kind of got that. And this movie sums up in spades, but with your love of heavy metal.
Popular pie plant pictured here.
The director genuinely said this. A director whose name is, I'm looking for the name in a minute, is Jason Lee Hoden. Jason Lee Hoden, right?
Yeah.
Great guy. Seems to be fun, all that kind of stuff. He didn't entirely confirm this, but he did say, and this is something we want to talk about later on in the thing, is that the movie concept was based off the first Evil Dead movie. And you can really feel that when you watch it.
Oh, definitely.
Both movies are about teenagers who unknowingly summon demons, and then both have to fight to survive and figure out the way to reverse the spell from the object that they was released in.
Yeah.
It's basically Ash summons demons from the Necronomicon, Brody summons demons from the Black Hymn.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's not just that the story in terms of like... a lot of the visuals are very Evil Dead as well. Like the demons look like Evil Dead, like demons.
Oh, they act like them as well. Do you like when they raise up and they're acting very stiff?
Yeah, and there's a bit where there's something in a box and it's kind of rattling, and it's like the trapdoor rattling in Evil Dead, isn't it? It's like, and then it kind of goes into it like that, like the camera kind of goes closer to it like that.
Oh, 100%.
And it's like that's kind of a definite homage to Evil Dead. Like,
I think it's basically the movie is Evil Dead, basically. Yeah. It's just an Evil Dead. This is how you do a remake, per se, right? Not a remake. You wouldn't call it Evil Dead, but this is how you pay proper homage to a movie.
Yeah.
I think it does it well. It might be a little too on the nose because all the zombies are basically Deadites. They're all Deadites.
Yeah.
Because they even like raise up and go like the whole stiff movement and the whole and everything else. But
so is it doing it too much? The fact that it's like, is it like it's ripping it off, or is it just homage? Do you think?
I think it's more homage because it's so deep in heavy metal lore more than anything else. I think it's paying more of an homage to heavy metal than it is Evil Dead. It just happens that they just work stupidly well.
Yeah.
Right? The production
was originally just sort of pitched. Now, what I mean by that is, it was originally just an idea, and Hoden took inspiration from his teenage years, in which he was a social outcast and a fan of heavy metal. You can see that it's got a little bit of personal touch in this movie.
Yeah, I don't think you'd be able to like make a movie like this if you hadn't experienced some of that stuff yourself.
And if you weren't a fan of heavy metal.
Yeah.
Because this is like a good representation of what a metaler is like properly.
Yeah.
Because it's not cartoonish or parody like you see in other B movies. It feels kind of real.
Yeah. And they, you know, if you were a metaler, you were an outcast, and a lot of people in like school or college or whatever weren't like interested in what you were doing and saw you as like someone to pick on or whatever. Yeah,
because you were a bit more of an open target because you like metal. But and that's the thing. It's weird because metal is, to me, a very sort of macho, heavy, masculine, sort of dominating kind of subculture, right? But everyone wants to poke fun of it.
Yeah.
It's very weird. So he wrote the idea and got the film and made a short film out of this thing. And the movie then won the idea and all that won the 2013 Make My Horror Movie contest. It won the money to make the movie. So basically, this is a competition win.
Yeah.
Which I actually really like. I think it's showing that it's from humble beginnings.
Yeah.
It's not like someone pitched it to a studio and did it. It went for a competition. It got a little money. But then the executive producer, which is Ann Timpson, cited Hoden's sheer enthusiasm and utter contentment as to why it won. It's the idea that you can see that he was so in love with this idea.
Yeah.
That it had to be made. That's passion. That is actually a real confidence boost for filmmakers out there. That if you really, really, really love an idea and you are so passionate about it, you should just go for it.
Because it's difficult, isn't it? Like with short films in general, when you're pitching, you kind of think that you should do something that's on trend or like something that's kind of like, people, is commercial in some way, like in order to like, the people, because you're always thinking about like stuff that will sell, aren't you, with movies?
Oh, totally.
And yet, sometimes something off the wall can just catch someone's eye and think this is so great, like this movie.
Here's one thing I kind of love. It's like this is a rumor. And I think I'm not sure if this was something that's seeded or not, and this would totally fall under the heavy metal vibe a bit, right? It says, there are rumours, and maybe we should try this one day, that if you play the Deathgasm muted, right, and play Iron Maiden's Live After Death simultaneously, it syncs up due to precise editing. The filmmakers have not yet commented.
I'd love it, right, if that was a thing. And if he did that, it would look amazing. What? So they're saying like it would sync in terms of like the editing, so like it would look like a long music video.
Yes.
Yeah, to that song.
Exactly. Which the whole album by the sound of things.
Yeah,
Live After Death. Which I'm not sure if that's a legit thing or not, but I think they're playing on the whole like, oh, if you watch The Wizard of Oz but play like Pink Floyd, that it syncs up perfectly. I think they're running on that kind of logic. Have you ever tried that? The Pink Floyd Wizard of Oz thing?
No.
I mean, does that actually work?
Yeah, I haven't tried it, but I want to try it. I've got Dark Side of the Moon. I haven't got
Wizard of Oz.
I haven't got Wizard of Oz.
God damn it! We could have done this tonight. Oh man.
I've got Return to Oz, which is badass.
I love Return to Oz, but it's totally not the same thing. Which basically, it feels like it's just fueling. This whole movie is just fueling on all like the heavy metal rumors and fun things about heavy metal and the stuff where you believe it or not or whatever. And I fucking love that. Okay, the movie got quite a good reception actually. It started off in the festival circuit. So it started on the festival circuit, did really well. Like it won Best Feature Film in like the Toronto After Dark Film Festival. The Knox Film Horror Film Festival. You can see that it's got this accolade. Right.
So this is interesting, right? Because we're doing it on the trash tapes, and yet this is a film that's done well.
I know. This is the first.
So that's interesting because, like, people would normally think with this podcast that we look at terrible movies. A terrible movie doesn't... A trashy movie isn't always, like, like a really, really bad movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a bad movie is not always trash, okay? It's weird with trash. I mean, there's a reason why it's a good movie. Like, it's a legitimately good film. I would totally recommend this 100%. But the reason why this movie falls under trash is because of its content.
Yeah.
It's produced well, and it's got this sort of humor that is enjoyable. It's got a great production value despite its budget, you know? But it's about heavy metal and Satan and boobs and gore.
And people fighting with dildos.
Exactly. Which we're going to definitely get to. At the current moment, is reported on Rotten Tomatoes. It's about 88% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
People are giving it praise. The movie overall has got like a 6.5 out of 10. Like, overall. So there are people who don't like the movie, but I can totally understand why. Because it's got... Again, Satan and heavy metal and boobs and gore
and so much gore. Like you could say gore about 3 times.
Gore, gore, gore. It's like Candyman at this point, you know. I can say gore 3 times in a mirror, and then Deathgasm, the DVD of Deathgasm, will be thrown into my face. There are some things that some reviewers say. I'm going to say what they say right now. One of my favorite one is Deathgasm literally plumbs the blood splattered depths of grindhouse gore with enough giddy glee and satisfying genre enthusiasts how can be thrilled for. And it's true. If you like horror movies that are ridiculous, this is totally up your bag. A little bit like how Evil Dead works. You've then also got things like shamelessly lowbrow, reaching a beer-fueled gleeful high as a zombie versus sex toys battle. It is a very metal tribute to the grand tradition of kiwi splatter comedies, which is true. This is following the same trend of things like Peter Jackson and so on and so forth, with things like Bad Taste and Black Sheep and Brain Dead and all these movies from New Zealand with just the weirdest splatter gore. However, and this is the thing that has been said at the minute, there's rumours for a sequel.
Really?
There's rumours for a sequel. Okay? I don't know how, but there'll be a sequel. Okay, the sequel, the title was called Deathgasm 2 Goremageddon. What a title. Was revealed. Apparently, the idea for it was revealed in December 2015 to be in production. On the topic of it, he said there's literally more gore in the first 10 minutes than the entire movie combined. Right? He mentioned this. Right? In the entire first movie combined. That sounds insane. Right? How in the first 10 minutes are you going to have that much gore? Because there's a lot of gore in this movie, right? If you can't like the first one, this will make your head implode. But the only problem is, there's been no news since that announcement.
Right.
I feel a little disappointed by that. I feel like maybe they got the script going, but it never got off the ground.
No, that does sound like what's happened. It sounds like they were on a high from the first movie, and it all seemed positive, like they could get a second one, so they started writing it, and maybe they couldn't get it off the ground.
That's a shame.
Know.
It's a shame.
Thing is, though, that it isn't necessarily gore that makes the movie better than the other one.
Exactly.
Or continues, like, you don't have to better it with gore. You just have to make another good movie. Like,
you just put gore in it, but don't expect the 10 minutes. Wow.
It's just insane. It's like, if you peak too early like that, what are you going to do with the rest of the movie?
My question is, how do you top it? It's like, do you remember when we reviewed Hobo with a Shotgun?
Yeah.
And how the very first gory death with the whole, like, car head being pulled, like, in the fucking thing, was so tremendous. And then you constantly watch the movie thinking, how the fuck is it going to top it? The movie did top itself, like, several times. But you know where I'm coming from? It's like, that's very high standard.
Yeah. It's like, it struggled, but the thing is, if you have that much amount of gore, it's kind of like exhausting.
Yeah.
So it's like Hobo the Shotgun did manage to top itself gore-wise throughout the entire movie, but at the same time, you were kind of like, "Whew, fucking hell, I'm fed up with gore now." By the end.
Let's break this down. Let's actually go right into the movie a little bit. Let's break down the synopsis a bit better, because we had a little talk about it. You want to pass me the DVD? If anyone buys a DVD, there's some brilliantly cool little artwork on the DVD cover. I'm a big fan of the artwork. It basically, the artwork overall, there's loads of motion graphics in the movie, loads of graphic design stuff that reminds you of when you're a teenager and you're like doodling in your notepad.
Yeah.
And you decide to draw like, you know, some kind of like satanic symbol on it just because you can. Like, here's a pentagram because you can. Or loads of penises because of course you can.
Sort of boobs or like...
Yeah.
Randomly, I used to draw ninjas a lot. So ninjas, boobs, cocks.
Can someone explain to me why cocks, we always used to draw cocks? Is it because it was just the easiest thing we could draw?
Yeah, they're really easy to draw, aren't they?
Yeah. Like you sit there and go like, we really shouldn't be drawing this. But we fucking do. And on top of that, we're very proud of them, even when we put detail in. Do you know when when you see a guy, he draws a penis, but he draws one with a bit of a vein on it, or got extra pubes on his balls.
Bit of shading.
Yes, the shading. And he's sitting there going like, well done. And you're thinking, wow, that's effort. Fucking ace.
It's just...
So, yeah.
It's just like too much. Yeah, too much detail.
Too much detail. So that's the kind of design that's on here. The loads of stuff in the movie that has that kind of look to it. Not just penises. But, although there's actually quite a lot of dick in this movie, if you think about it. Like, there's full frontal and dildos. But, anyway, back to the point. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to get the DVD, I've got the back, I'm going to describe the plot as a whole. And then we're going to talk about our favourite scenes. Yeah. Because there's quite a few scenes in the movie, but there's definitely enough we could break down. So, let me put on my narrator voice. Excuse me for a second. Metal thrashing Brody is an outcast in a sea of jocks and cheerleaders until he meets a kindred spirit by a fellow metalhead, Zach. Can I just say, Zach's not a very metal name?
I guess not.
If you think of like Zach sounds like one of the jocks that would beat you up after school.
Well, Zach reminds me of Zach Morris from Saved by the Bell.
And he was not...
Well, he wasn't a jock, but he was like a bit sort of like just an average cool kid, wasn't he? Like, he looked like a everyday kind of cool kid. Like,
but I get what you mean. Like, he's like the cool kid, but without putting any effort. You know what I mean? He's not like a jock or something cool or like in a gang or anything. He's just there. So yeah, Zach. Not Zach Morris, although whatever, right? After starting their own band called Deathgasm, right, they find a mysterious piece of sheet music that's said to grant ultimate power. I'm writing it up because it's in capital letters. You see that? It's got capital letters. Ultimate power is in capital letters.
It's like when they say they want the name of the band to be Deathgasm, all in caps.
It says Deathgasm, all in capital letters, lowercase for pussies. What a line.
Zach played bass, so we started a band.
Right, first things first, what are we called?
Murder boner?
Toothed vagina.
Oh, maggot spoon. Cannibal unicorn.
How about like 13 S's, you know, like... Got it. Deathgasm. All spelt in capitals. Lowercase is for pussies.
What? I'm just mixing it up.
I fucking said...
But when the music also summons an ancient evil, it's up to Brody, Zach, and their group of friends to stop a force of pure evil from devouring all of mankind. Featuring an awesome original soundtrack of fist-banging metal, Deathgasm will gush bodily fluids, rain limbs, and tickle your funny bone. I love how it's like two really harsh descriptions, and also it will tickle your funny bone.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it. I love that. That's the description of the back. I'm actually a big fan of that. I think it sums up the movie perfectly. It is about a bunch of youths who are outcasts and are want to do better. Especially when you're in metal and you feel like you're getting beaten up and no one understands you. Everyone's had those weird power fantasies, I think, where they're like, I wish I was powerful enough to beat up my bully. Or I wish I could do this, whatever, right? But imagine if you found a sheet of music that could fucking do that.
Yeah.
but also summon the apocalypse.
You know, ever since now, I wasn't thinking it when we were watching the movie, but because I've now mentioned Zach from Saved by the Bell, I'm just thinking of Zach from Saved by the Bell all the time. And I saw on Instagram lately, I saw like, you know, Then and Now.
Yeah.
And like Zach Morris from Saved by the Bell, he looks old now, but he was next to the guy who played AC Slater. AC Slater, he looks the same.
I've seen that picture.
He's not aged. What's going on?
I've seen that picture. I'm thinking, what the hell? Slater has sold his soul to the devil. That's why. He works with the devil.
Yeah.
Speaking connected to this bullshit, right? But yeah. So let's break this down a little bit more. So let's talk primarily about the gore first. We have to talk about the gore first because I think it's predominantly, other than the heavy metal itself, it is its main selling point.
Yeah, definitely. But at the same time, it's like something like, you know, like a Brain Dead.
Yes.
So the gore really comes towards like the climax of the movie. So it's kind of like all of a sudden it starts kind of like, I'm going to show you gore now, then it's going to be like boof, 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 and it's going to amp up towards the end.
Yeah, and I think as well, like when we say gore, there's two kinds of gore, I think. One which is realistic gore, which is like torture, like when you cut something and it feels like really real. When you cut off a hand, it looks like it's real, you know what I mean? And then there's comedy gore.
Yeah, like Evil Dead type gore.
Like Evil Dead, where you watch Evil Dead 2. The kind of gore you watch in Evil Dead 2 is ridiculous. You know, he chops off his own hand, yeah, but it's almost done for a punchline. It's done to be funny. Yeah. And I think that what this movie does in spades, because, oh my god, what is one of your favorite gore scenes in the movie?
I do like the chainsaw bit. I mean, I mentioned it like briefly earlier.
Yeah.
But there's just like, that's a definite homage to Evil Dead. But the only reason is like it hasn't got the chainsaws attached to him, but he's got, I think one's a normal full-size chainsaw and it's like a mini chainsaw.
Yeah, it's a micro chainsaw.
Yeah, and he's just got, what is it, Zach, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's got one in each hand, and he's just battling the demons.
Yeah.
And just like, there's just so much soaring of demons going on left, right, and centre, isn't it?
I mean,
like,
wasn't there one at the end of that where there's one guy who I think it's like the one of the bullies, isn't he? And it turns into a deadite kind of thing. And so he just chops off his one arm, then chops off another arm, then chops off his head, and chops off his torso. I know he's just a standing pair of legs by the end of it.
And isn't that scene is the scene that's got the bit where the bully, that's the cousin that's been bullying the main character.
Yeah.
Doesn't he come in at the end?
Yeah, you know, he comes at the end of the other fight scene, which we'll talk about.
Right, okay.
Yeah, and he comes in. He's perfectly normal. He's not a deadite. And Brody just chops off the top of his head. And I love the joke at the end of it, because Brody then goes doesn't Brody go on and say like, exactly?
He was definitely a zombie.
It's like, yeah, it's definitely a zombie. It's like, no, he wasn't possessed. And it's like, yeah, he totally was. He was talking about Satan. I love it. That's the kind of Kiwi humor I like. That's the kind of humor I'm into.
Right. Yeah.
Now they're going back home. I love that the crucifix is now upside down.
Yeah.
I fucking... Whoa! Nice.
Just drinking beer.
Like, how did you not notice?
Well, it's great. Is he noticed, but then had a swig.
A swig. He needs to finish off his booze. Are you willing to kill your? You willing to kill your auntie? Yeah, very easily.
When they're a demon, yeah.
Oh! Oh! It's so close! Oh, it's really close. I'm gonna eat your soul. I swallow your soul. I swallow your soul. Yeah! Yes! Oh, Oh, that's totally penetrated. Oh no. Yeah! Look at those guts! She's still moving!
Well, it's just a zombie, isn't she?
You have to destroy the head, yeah? It's totally you know, it's the whole zombie rules. You gotta destroy the head. Shoot him in the brain!
Like, or chop it off or something.
Is that a rampant rabbit? Oh my god. Oh! Is that what you call a
Double penetration.
high five?
D&D!
Now we know D&D is a new nickname for double penetration. If a girl comes and asks you, "I want to play some D&D," she wants 2 people in them.
It's like dick and dick.
Dick and more dick.
What the fuck?
He just killed him.
And he's not even a zombie.
You know what? He was a dick, though.
That's like the Simpsons gag. Like,
yeah.
you shot not zombie Ned.
No,
he was a zombie.
No, he was a zombie. I love it.
First covering fire from there.
My favourite Gore scene is one of the first ones. I think it's because, again, it really falls more on the funny rather than being gory. And I think that's what this movie does well. It uses gore not to horrify you, but to laugh. Because it's done ridiculously. So so basically, the music is being held by this former like sort of death metal rocker called Daggers. His nickname's Daggers, right? Yeah. So he's like the lead singer of this sort of crazy like metal band that fell into Satanism because he has some sheet music. So this cult send this guy over to kill him off, and they do kill him off, but they have no sheep. So the assassin comes back to the head of the cult, and this entire scene is amazing. And I think you know what I'm talking about, yeah? Like,
yeah, definitely.
So he goes in, he's in, and he kneels down, and he goes and said like, I went to Dagger's house. The music, the black hymn was not there. I think someone got there before us, right? And then these 2 samurai guys out of nowhere just come out from the back and just chop off his head. And it's not the head chopping that's funny. It's the reaction from the cult leader. He says like, "God damn it, you've got blood all over the carpet. Put a tarp down."
Yeah, there's a rug, isn't there?
Yeah,
and he's like, this is a very expensive new rug.
Hey, on the pages. Black hymn. Pages are just paper. Black hymn is absolute power. Please, give it the reverence it deserves.
Daggers didn't have it. The black hymn. I think someone got to it before us.
Oh. That's a shame.
There was a break-in. The pages should be in grade point somewhere. I just need more time.
Winners don't make excuses for their failures. They learn from them.
No, please.
Take his fucking head off.
No!
Oh, come on. That's a custom-made Satori rug, idiots. You put a tarp down first. Do it again. Again! Do it again!
That's good.
So the 2 guys, bless them, they put a tarp down.
I'm gonna try and get the audience to picture what these guys look like. They kind of look. If anyone's ever seen Eyes Wide Shut,
yes,
robes and weird masks, like head masks, that. These guys come in. They look kind of epic like that, but they're kind of just servants to this guy.
To this guy who just looks like a regular schmuck, but he's apparently the head of this cult. And then one of them holds the other guy's head, holds the dead guy's head. tries to attach it back to his neck, while the other guy gets a blue tarp to put underneath him, and then the guy gets a sword and just taps it. So it looks like he chopped off his head.
And then the main guy is quite happy with that then. He's like, yeah, that was all right.
I'll do. But then there's another punchline with that, that at the end of it, he realises he's getting a blowjob this entire time. And I'm thinking, well fucking done.
What's so great about that, though, is the fact that, like, he is getting a blowjob the entire time because that's revealed, but he's not emoted like he's having a blowjob the entire time. So it's just for the sake of it. It's just because he can.
Yes! It doesn't look like he even enjoy it.
It's like, you think that if he was, you'd think now and again he would have like sort of flinched or kind of like gone like that or something like that. But at no point does he act like he's getting pleasured by anything. So he's just, because he can, he's just having that happen. But it might not even be happening properly, you know, like...
He might just not be getting it up.
Yeah.
Because the moment his blowjob's happening, this motherfucker comes in, tells him he doesn't get his black hymn. Instant boner killer, you know. Fucking hell. Now, the next thing I want to kind of throw out is, obviously there's loads of gore, but one of the things that we mentioned throughout the whole thing is that it's very much like Evil Dead. And even the director admits it. It's like Evil Dead. So I want to talk about the movie a little bit, like how close or how good is it to being an Evil Dead movie? Like, could this technically work as an Evil Dead movie?
I suppose it could be. I don't know. I think that it's not, like, close enough for it to be, like, classed as an Evil Dead movie. I think it's just, you can just see some homages, like, here and there.
There are some...
but all the demons, like they are like Deadites.
They are, to the point of, do you remember that fortune teller? That when she gets when her heart, by the way, just to describe it, her heart gets pulled out of her chest from the back and gets eaten. Right, this is how metal it is. Right, and then she gets up, eyes pure white, just like a Deadite.
Yeah.
I think the movie has enough that if you changed a few things slightly, it would totally have worked as an Evil Dead movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's also like...
we're talking about Drag Me to Hell.
Drag Me to Hell, yeah. That's the one I was thinking of. It has that vibe as well, because it's like, it's just that the demons are similar in that as well.
It's a little bit like, this could be a little bit in an Evil Dead universe. Like, if there was a universe, it would fall under this very well.
Yeah.
The best part that sums it up is when they're actually playing the Black Hymn. Like the first time round. The first time they're playing the Black Hymn, it's kind of badass because when they're playing the Black Hymn, all the band's playing it, Deathgasm are playing it, and they're in a trance. And when they're in a trance, they're just like, they're kind of like when they're playing the recording and reading out the book of the Necronomicon the first time.
Yeah.
You know? And
having said that, in terms of like thinking about how it relates to like Evil Dead, it kind of did remind me a bit of the Evil Dead TV series. Like,
with Ash versus the Evil Dead.
Yeah, because I think it could be part of that universe, you know, as well. Because it's like it's got a lot of like for example, if they had a random episode about metal, like that, it would work. It wouldn't be out of place, would it? You know,
it wouldn't be out of place to see Ash walk in and realise that a bunch of teenage heavy metalers have summoned a demon.
Yeah,
it would totally make sense. If Ash walked into this movie, we would not be surprised. Have you ever been in a heavy metal band?
No, just talked about it.
You just dreamed of being in one.
Well, no, it's like, the thing is, in school, we were all sort of learning instruments.
Yeah. And,
like, as we were learning, thinking, well, this has got to progress somewhere. We're going to be in a band. So let's talk about the band that we're going to be in. And, like, at one point, this is going to make you laugh. At one point, we even talked about it being in a band called Dragon Slayer, right?
Dragon Slayer? What a name!
It's such a, like, cheesy fantasy name.
I fucking love it.
And like, we quickly, as soon as anyone in the class kind of like cottoned on to, we might have a band, we might making a band called Dragon Slayer, and people were like giggling about it, like that's shit. Like,
shit, Dragon Slayer, what the hell?
As soon as like that, of course, as soon as we heard that, we changed it immediately. Like, but the thing was, it was like it never really came about. It was just always about thinking about names, and that's just a classic thing that you do when you're in your youth, isn't it? You think about the name of the band is the most important thing,
and that's the thing that they do at the beginning when they make their band, don't they? They say like they don't even know if they know how to play the instruments well. They just say like, right, first things first, we need a name. I always find finding band names very difficult. I was in a couple of heavy metal bands. I don't think you knew me around this time, but I was in a heavy metal band when I was in Derby for the first few years. I met a guy called Linus, right? And he was a guitarist, and he started his own band. And the name is terrible. It didn't last very long. I was kicked out after 3 gigs because I quote, and I'm going to quote this from him: "I'm not metal enough." Who was the lead guitarist, and he was really good at guitar. Admittedly, he was very good at guitar. But he said, I quote, "I wasn't metal enough because I was the lead singer." But do you want to know the name of the band?
I do.
Metalloid.
Metalloid.
What a name. Ladies and gentlemen, I was in a band called Metalloid, and it was garbage. But I did gig for. I did do like 3 gigs with them, and I was very happy with it. I kind of liked the persona being in front of a stage and having that thing. And I thought to myself, like, I wasn't sure if I was doing it very well or not, but I was sat there going like, "Fuck, I'm living the dream."
Yeah, I'm doing it, man.
I'm doing the heavy metal rock star dream, right? And watching this movie kind of reminded me of that a little bit. Those really good rock and heavy metal moments.
What's great though about this movie is that they, like in school, like I was talking about, they never get to that stage. They're just literally practicing, thinking about what they're called, thinking they're so metal, but they never actually perform it to anyone.
Like they only just play in their garage.
Zach, that's good. Brody, can you put your foot up on that tree? Yep, but higher. Higher.
This is retarded. Our instruments aren't even plugged in. Where the fuck is the sound meant to be coming from?
Trust me, this is going to be off the hook. Yeah, no, that's good. Let's head to the next location.
Fuck you, Dale.
The music video where Deathgasm's playing in the woods with face paint on is a reference to a well-known but pretty bad music video called Call of the Winter Moon by Immortal. So perhaps, after all this, we should watch it and see how bad it is. See if it's literally just as bad as we think it is. It's just them in the woods going, bleh, or whatever.
They're quite a famous death metal band, aren't
Immortal, yeah. All are very, very famous. They're huge. But clearly, maybe they had no budget for their music video. We have to talk about the dildo fight.
Yeah.
We have to talk about the dildo fight. So, we need to add a bit of context to this first. So, do you want to add a bit of context to it? Do you want to explain the scene a little bit? You have to explain it in some capacity as why in the god hell they have dildos in the first place.
So, the way it comes about is they go to what's the main character's called?
Brody.
Brody, right? They end up in his house, don't they? And he's in like he's staying with like very like Christian kind of family, isn't he? You know,
because his auntie and uncle are literally, and I'm going to quote the movie: "My Uncle Albert is balls deep into Jesus."
Yeah. And that they end up in like the auntie and uncle's bedroom.
Yeah.
And you know, it's what's so great about it is like the Zach character is like rooting around and stuff, and he finds this stuff, and it's so surprising that he finds like a massive dildo and anal beads in this room because they're really strict kind of like Christians, and that's just like the main sort of point of the humor of this scene, because it's like they're meant to be super Christians and yet all this stuff is like in their bedroom.
They're into kinky shit.
We need armor. Does your uncle have a gun?
I doubt it, man! Fuck!
Bet there are some crosses in here. Or some Bibles we can bash them with. What the hell?
I think they're rosary beads.
What part of church do they crank this bad boy, Brody? Oh, great.
What? Oh, fuck! Why would you do that?
What I love about this scene is like they think that would be a great weapon to wield, and like I think that this scene's only good, it's really funny that they end up using those weapons, but in reality, if you try to use a dildo as a weapon,
yes,
especially a massive floppy one like they've got,
big as the big floppy dick,
how would it really harm anyone?
It's so weird.
What's weird though is like the anal beads are kind of like nunchucks.
Yeah, he used them it's like Bruce Lee doing that shit, right? But the best part of that sequence is when how the auntie dies, because the auntie gets 2 vibrators into the skull. Fucking hell. I thought
each ear.
In each ear. Gay basically skull fucked. And I have no idea how to even say that with a straight face. But yeah, that happens. Let's talk about the characters a little bit, and I want to talk about who is your favourite and why.
I kind of like Zach. Even I mean, I know he's a bit of a douche at times, but he's just so fucking metal.
He's so metal. Thing is, do you know to the point that he's so metal, you're slightly intimidated?
Yeah.
Like he's walking around with the coolest leather jacket with like all the studs.
How many studs? And he's kind of got like that evil expression, a bit like the painting in Ghostbusters 2.
Yes.
He kind of looks that moody all the time.
Yes. That's brilliant. Oh,
what's his name again? I can't remember the name of the guy in the painting.
I can't remember. Who cares? He's Zach now. He's Zach.
Because he's not like a bully or anything.
No, he's a dick though.
He's the kind of, you kind of want to be like him, especially if you're like a metal kid like Brody is.
Yeah.
You kind of see this guy and he's like, oh my God, that guy's even more metal than me. I want to be like that guy.
Yes, he's the guy you want to look up to, even though he's not the ideal guy to ever look up to.
No, not. But he obviously finds that out later that he's not. He's a bit of a questionable character. But like in terms of to begin with, he's someone to look up to.
Yeah. But I think the reason why Zach does some of the stuff is because I think he wants. I'm not sure because he's selfish entirely. I think there's a little bit of an undertone with him. I think he kind of wants Brody to himself. Does that make sense? He's worried that if anyone kind of comes into Brody's life, that because these two have now become blood brothers, they literally have a blood pact, which is awesome, that if anyone else comes into life, they're going to take him away. So he does some dickish things to keep Brody. Even though he still has to act like this cool-ass, I don't give a flying fuck exterior. So I think that's kind of the reason for it. Although some of the dick moves are real dick moves.
No, we won't reveal too much because if you want to watch the movie, you can check it out.
You'll find out, but he's done some dick moves. Right. My favourite character, actually, is the girlfriend. I love Medina. Medina is amazing.
She's got a great arc, actually. She's got one of the most, like, sort of transitional arcs.
Yes. So Medina is basically originally starts as the girlfriend of David, who is the other cousin of Brody, who is the big fucking asshole douchebag bully, right?
Yeah.
But eventually, Medina starts liking Brody a bit, and Medina starts being more curious about Brody, right? I want, and actually asks him, it's like, what is heavy metal? One of the funniest scenes in the movie is where you've got Brody covered in corpse paint and in all the studs, and then you've got this cute little cheerleader girl, innocent, wearing like pastel colours, right next to each other on a bench eating ice cream.
It's so great.
And talking about metal.
It's really, really sweet, that scene.
It is. It's actually kind of sweet because Brody's opening up to Medina by that point. Like, it's talking a little bit about how metal is important to him.
Yeah.
And to be honest, watching the scene, I get it.
I was thinking about getting a tattoo. It would drive my dad crazy. I should get you to design it. Maybe that's lame.
No, of course. I mean, of course, I would help you design it, not of course I think it's lame.
Okay. I was thinking about getting it just here.
Yes. Good spot for it?
Or maybe here on my upper thigh.
Yeah, yes. Both great areas, places, and hard decision.
So you in a band?
Yeah, I play the guitar. I mean, axe. Do you like metal?
I don't really get it.
It's like when life sucks, and you feel alone and empty. Stick on some metal, and life is better because somebody else knows the pain and the rage that you're going through. I'll lend you a CD. You should have a listen.
Whoa.
It's about, if you like, the reason why most people like metal, I think, and it's true, the movie says, it's because if you're really angry or you're very upset, it's nice when you hear music that helps represent that. So he gives her an album and says, listen to it. I love it. One of my favourite scenes of that is like she's walking down listening to a Walkman. Who still has Walkmans nowadays?
Discman.
Discman, literally a Discman. Who has a Discman nowadays?
I think it's set is it set in the 90s?
It doesn't feel it, to be fair. If it was supposed to be in the 90s, it doesn't feel it.
Well, if it is that, I mean, why has she still got a personal CD player? No one has them anymore.
That's my only gist. I think it's literally the only excuse so they can listen to a CD because it's not, because nowadays it'd be more like, oh, let me just go on your Spotify, I'll give you a couple of tracks for the playlist. It's not as sexy, it's not as attractive, isn't it? It's not as romantic as giving someone a CD.
Oh god, I loved my Sony Discman.
Yeah, I bet you did.
I had one. It didn't have any, I had one of the early ones. Didn't have any of, the anti-jog type stuff. So you
couldn't run.
If you were running or, it would just skip. But it was such a great CD player at the time. I really loved it. And, I remember so much about it. I even remember how much it cost.
Really? How much did it cost?
$89.99.
Oh, when, though? When was this?
That must have been when they were, sort of new.
So, in the mid-90s?
Yeah, I would have thought so.
Fucking hell. That was pricey. I remember my Discman as well.
I mean, I suppose they weren't new then, but CD wasn't new. I mean, CD was new in the 80s, but no one was really having them then.
It really went full force from the 90s.
Yeah.
It's like, everything's gonna be on CDs now. Right? And now, no one uses CD anymore. In fact, vinyl's back. And another thing I want to throw very quickly before I talk about the scene is this movie's basically a lover of vinyl.
Yeah.
Because there's scenes in the record shop and there's moments of people just playing vinyls and talking about vinyl records. So if you like vinyl, this movie's perfect.
And the Holy Grail album.
Yeah,
that Daggers has.
Yeah, the Haxordan Sword.
Is a vinyl.
Yeah. With the notes in it. That's the kind of stuff.
Because it was only 666 made. Yeah.
So metal. This is one of my favourite bits with, speaking of that, is when Medina puts on the CD for the first time, right? And I love this as an idea. I want to remember what it was like when you first heard heavy metal again. Because I was young, but I wasn't like wowed as crazy as this, right? But she listens to heavy metal for the very first time on a Walkman. And suddenly she's whisked away into like basically a Conan She-Ra like universe. Where she's wielding an axe, drinking mead, and having topless women make out in front of her on top of a mountain. It is so metal. It's such a power metal fantasy. And you see it previously when Brody puts on music for the first time. And I love it. Because at one point, there's this woman just stroking his leg. He just stares at her and then with fucking lasers just removes her top and she's topless now.
With that bit, I can only imagine that it's kind of symbolism of how awesome metal sounds for that particular time of first listening. Because I didn't, when I first listened to metal, it was a great experience, but I didn't picture anything like that.
You weren't whisked away.
So it's kind of like, I think it's just capturing the feeling of like listening to great metal for the first time and really enjoying it. And it's kind of like,
just being wowed.
Yeah.
And it's fucking great. She's wowed. And because of that, she becomes a bit of a badass. Like throughout the movie, because when the zombie apocalypse and the demons and everything else happens, there she is in basically a little bit like Buffy in a weird way. She suddenly becomes awesome. She wears a leather jacket and a skirt, holding an axe and just slicing her way through all the deadites.
Definitely.
What are you doing? Brings a dice purse to a demon apocalypse anyway.
Oh, all the D20s. Oh, no. Oh, no. Yeah! Oh!
What a shot.
What's up?
She's so good. That was so...
I wanted to come up with like a one-liner, like you were axing for this or something. That would be really cool, right?
That was pretty cool.
I love it.
And I think it's because I loved her because she is the character to me that isn't a stereotype. Everyone else is a bit of a stereotype. Like you have the nerd who's very nerdy, he likes playing D&D or whatever. You have the fat friend who's literally only there to be the fat friend. You've got Zach who's all metal, and then you got Brody who's like the awkward kid, and everyone else, and everyone else is either a bully or a stereotype. She's the one that isn't. She's the one that I feel the most for. So I think that's the case. 'Cause all the other characters we mentioned, they're all right. But she's not. But it's not like a cheerleader in a short skirt and a leather jacket wielding an axe kind of badass.
Yeah, in like an unusual way, she has, like I've mentioned, she has more of an arc because she has like a path. She changes from one point to another point. Whereas the other people just kind of stay the same. They don't really learn anything from the story.
Zach kind of does at the end.
Yeah.
But it's still... I think it feels more like more of a confirmation instead of an arc, you know? Like, it's like, yeah, you finally accepted your friends and that you shouldn't be such a dick. Stop being selfish.
Yeah, so he kind of, like, redeems himself a little bit because he's kind of, like, understanding that, you know, he can... he understands who his friends are and how he can support them and do a good thing and whatnot. Yeah. Whereas, in the past, he probably wouldn't have done all that stuff. But in terms of transformation...
He's had little. Like, he's still himself. He just gets it. While she, total transformation. Amazing. She was hot as well at the end of it. Like, by the end of it, I was thinking, like, I'm kind of into this.
Although there's I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing.
Go on.
But like Avril Lavigne hair in like the early 90s when she had like the blonde and the black stripes.
You're into that?
I was into that, but I think metalheads would be like, oh no, Avril Lavigne, that's pop shit.
It's pop punk shit. But I know. Avril Lavigne, back in the day, totally a babe.
Yeah,
you know?
Definitely.
So yeah, that to me was Deathgasm. Deathgasm, an absolute whale of a time. absolute fun. Loads of fun to watch through. Loads of scenes I really recommend you guys want to watch. So what do you think of the movie as a whole, if you had to sum it up?
Just really, really like fun, and like it is very sort of like it's so metal. I mean, yeah, I would say that to enjoy, you have to really be into the metal vibe, because I don't think anyone would enjoy it. That if you don't like metal music, you probably won't get it or like it. I mean, because I really like metal from like a kid age to adult. I kind of understand what the kid characters are going through and whatnot.
Yeah.
So it's not for everyone, but if you're into metal and rock and whatnot, and you remember that as a kid, and then you're also into like gore and horror, then you'll absolutely love it. And it is just in that respect, I would highly recommend to that group, you know, people.
I'd agree. I think if you don't like heavy metal, I don't think you're going to get its heart, because it's not everyone is a stereotype per se, but it's more like, even though they are playing on tropes on heavy metal, it feels more personalized. It feels more honest. The teenagers are acting like when we were teenagers and listening to heavy metal.
Yeah.
You know? They're acting like it. They're going for the whole spiel. It feels very personal that way.
And it does feel like the director has been there. You know, like...
And just added deadites.
Yeah.
Right. So to wrap up the episode, we're kind of steamroll for the whole thing, but I honestly recommend Deathgasm's totally a movie to watch. So until next time, keep an eye on your trash. There might be some treasure in there. See you next time.
See you later, guys.